There's not much left to discuss, but I don't think the Witherblade is the only weapon made with the Splinter, as in I think we'll be revisiting the Dormant Splinter in the future.
Well, looks like my prediction came true. The Dormant Splinter, formerly the rarest item in Deepwoken history, did return after all, in the form of a new relic weapon, the Sanguine Transfuser. Granted, it's been 9 months, and you probably couldn't even hear what I was saying in that first clip because of the mic I used to have. Regardless, we're here now, and it's time for me to return to the weapon that kickstarted my career. Now, if you've never heard of the Dormant Splinter, don't go anywhere, I'll catch you up in a second. But what you need to know, the last time this item got a new recipe, it brought the greatest lore I've ever analyzed. Remember to subscribe, the 10k special video is well within reach. Thank you very much. Now, if you weren't playing the game or you weren't active in the community around 10 months ago, you're likely unfamiliar with the Dormant Splinter. This relic weapon, at the time, was the center of the largest recipe hunt we'd ever seen in Deepwoken history, complete with hints, hours of testing, and my own lore video. Regardless, the Splinter's purpose was eventually discovered, and the Umbright Witherblade was crafted using the Cold Forge. Everyone went home happy. But now, months later, the Dormant Splinter has returned with a whole new crafting recipe. The Splinter is admittedly far from what it used to be. There was no week-long hunt or 50 consecutive no-go streams this time, but what we did get was a new area hidden deep in the Isle of Vigils. If you take this zipline and follow the pathing you can see me take on screen, you'll reach a subtly breakable wall. Hit this thing a few times and suddenly, you'll see the entrance to a small cavern. Stepping in, two things are clear. The first, that you're now a witness to murder, and the second, you're standing next to a royal guard, a man named Seroth, and the corpse of a ministry agent. The man startles, almost dropping a small vial of dried blood. What? You aren't supposed to be here. Official guard business. Nothing you need to trouble yourself with, Pathfinder. You look jumpy. Jumpy. No, I'm focused. I have an eye for the tiniest splatter, details you couldn't dream of grasping. Now, kindly stop breathing down my neck. Not until you tell me what you're doing. Seroth fumbles, glancing at the corpse beside him. What I'm doing is beyond your clearance, civilian. Tell you what, here, take this and disappear, Fine, hand it over. Seroth shoves the brittle fragments in your hands, wiping his gloves as though the thing disgusts him. Pawn it, toss it, I don't care. Just leave me to my work. Well, that whole interaction was just really strange, to be honest. Now, there's a conversation to be had about whether or not this man, Seroth, is actually a royal guard or not, but he's most likely working for the Lord Regent regardless. This may seem like it complicates things, as Lord Regent is obviously a secret ministry agent. Why would he order a royal guard to murder someone on his side? Well, Lord Regent's ministry affiliation is clearly not widely known within Etria, and it's entirely plausible that Regent simply wanted what this agent had, so he just ordered him killed. You're not going to convince me that Lord Regent is this compassionate guy who loves all his underlings. Anyways, regardless of who gave this order or who Seroth really is, what matters is the dagger shards that he hands to you. After finishing Seroth's dialogue, you'll receive the Ancient Dagger Remains. Combine these Ancient Dagger Remains with a Hemobloom, which is a new blood flower you can find in the Valley of Heroes, as well as the Dormant Splinter, and you'll receive the third Dormant Splinter variant in Deepwoken, the Sanguine Transfuser. You watch the once solid Splinter animate within the Cold Forge, the fragmented blade freely imbibing its now biotic form. The corroded dagger falls away, leaving the Splinter and blood to dance through the helical mold. As they reach the now fused Hemobloom, the Splinter diverges, rejected by the crystallizing blood now solidly cast into its progenitor's form. Though the relic was destroyed and your experiment failed, what remains may be worth what was lost. Now that you've got your hands on a relic blood-red dagger, you can take the hike back to Seroth and speak to him with the dagger on your person, prompting this new dialogue. Oh, wow. Is that... Beads of sweat begin to form on Seroth's forehead. I don't suppose you'd want to give that back. Not on your life. Pinching the bridge of his nose, Seroth releases a deep exhale. I cannot believe I handed the one exact precise thing that I was looking for to a schmuck like you. He exhales again, this time a little harder. Man, he's gonna lose it! So it's abundantly clear that whoever ordered Seroth to slaughter this Ministry agent was clearly looking for the completed Sanguine Transfuser. However, the agent had yet to complete the dagger, leaving remains behind instead. Thus, Seroth handed these remains to you, thinking that they were irrelevant, and you were able to complete the dagger yourself, with the help of a Hemobloom and the Dormant Splinter. So, you've got an awesome dagger now. That's all well and good, but there's a few questions we've got to ask about the Dormant Splinter itself. What I personally find interesting is the question of the Splinter's actual purpose. When we create the Sanguine Transfuser, you'd imagine that would be mission successful, right? Apparently not, as the description states that, though the relic was destroyed and your experiment failed, what remains may be worth what was lost. The relic being destroyed must refer to the Dormant Splinter, and the description also notes that our experiment failed. This calls into question just what our goal for the Splinter actually is. What would result in a success? Well, thanks to some clarification from everyone's favorite dev in Toons, we now know that it's not an experiment for our sake. It's actually for the sake of the Splinter. For you see, the Dormant Splinter is a blade that is alive. It's not just capable of basic sentience though, it wants. What does this fragmented blade long for? A perfect partner. The Dormant Splinter is essentially an invasive force that assimilates blades and has a pseudo-sentient will of its own. We can see the Splinter assimilating other weapons in the case of the Sanguine Transfuser, but also in the case of the Umbright Witherblade, where the Splinter consumes the Razor Cutlass used in the recipe. The Splinter's will of its own means that it's capable of absorbing most weapons and strengthening itself. However, what happens when the Dormant Splinter tries to assimilate something that resists its influence? Toons clarified that in the case of the Sanguine Transfuser, it's the case that the old blood within it is more in control this time than the Splinter after being reawakened. After a certain point of restoration, the old blood dominates the Splinter's will and breaks it. The reason the Dormant Splinter broke in the case of the Sanguine Transfuser is because the blood within the original ingredients resisted its influence. The experiment failed because the Splinter and the remains of the dagger are simply not compatible, clashing wills. They're now two pseudo-sentient parts of one blade. Thus, your experiment failed, as the Splinter has yet to find a perfect partner that it can fuse with and become the perfect blade. This is the true purpose of the Dormant Splinter, but we may be waiting a while for the Splinter's perfect partner to arrive in-game. If there are recipes added in the future though, it won't be a sentient weapon that could resist being taken over. Only time will tell if the Splinter returns with a vengeance once more, but that's all I've got to say about it for now. Thank you for watching, remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, bye. Still here? Well, there is one thing that I neglected to mention. In the room with Seroth, you can see on the wall this thing. Yeah, I don't think I'll be solving that this video.